Hello everybody and welcome back to Pile of Potential Hobbies. I hope everyone's doing well. Got a little bit of a hobby update here for you today. What I've been working on and what's coming up next. Not super busy this week, which most of my painting I did over the weekend, last weekend and this weekend. And I was able to get 3 models finished. I know it's not a lot. But they're character models with a lot of shared colors and everything. But I'm happy with the way they turned out. I actually just finished the skin tone. But before I show those to you guys, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe on the video. Got a few new subscribers, so welcome. We're getting really close to 100 subscribers. Hope to hit that pretty soon. That would just be really nice to see. The fact 100 people want to get notified every time or want to keep up with my videos every time I post one is just incredible to me. But without further ado, I'm going to show you what I've gotten painted. They're all Footsore miniatures. Footsore and Paul Hicks sculpts. So Paul Hicks sculpts from Footsore Miniatures for the Barons War. Up first is the Outlaw Noble. Pretty cool miniature. Really happy with the way he turned out. I tried to keep him muted for the most part, but also with some color with that red in there for his hood. Just to show he's not your typical run-of-the-mill outlaw. He, not that they wouldn't have access to red, but that red just being a little bit more of a nobility-looking, cleaner color for the most part. And if I really want to make it pop, I can highlight it up. Which I may do at some point. Probably not, but maybe. But again, happy with the way he turned out. All just contrast paints over ossified bone from Color Forge Miniatures, with the exception of the metallics. The metallics is I use Cerakote Silver this go around. Then went over everything with a known oil wash. Usually I just do the skin and the metallics, but I went over everything and it muted the model down pretty good. And makes it look, or ties it all in really well, giving more shadow than the on top of the contrast paints. So, and then highlighted the skin. I've still got to do the bases on these models. I still haven't done the bases from the sheep and goats from last week, so probably maybe later today or sometime over the week or next weekend, do a little bit of like a mass basing kind of thing and base these models up. Up next is the Gamekeeper, and I went with, for sure, darker tones with him, just to help him blend more in, like in a forest or whatever. Camouflage, but not camouflage. I figured being a gamekeeper and being in charge of hunting and also keeping poachers away or out and away from the lord or king's wood and animals, he'd be in darker colors, but I also gave him that red just to show that maybe he's got some access to some money or goods that maybe just your typical peasant wouldn't, with him having a little higher position, because I mean he's got a sword, having a higher position in society. But yeah, his eye patch I think is really cool. And he's got a crossbow. Just something about an archer or a ranged person at all with an eye patch is just awesome to me. I want to see more models like that. Up last would be somebody that the Gamekeeper would go after. It's a poacher. Him, I kind of did the same thing. Camouflage colors, darker foresty colors of green and the brown, but also his pants are red, so maybe he's got access to, or he's been able to get a hold of some of these goods that maybe a typical peasant wouldn't, because of his lucrative poaching job. So yeah, happy with the way he came out. It's got birds back here that I just did in a, I think, skeleton bone, which basically looks the same as the ossified earth. And then he's got a rabbit here on this side, which I did in gray, and the fletching on his arrows are black. But yeah, really happy with the way he turned out. Face is pretty hidden well in there underneath that hood. But yeah, really happy with the way he turned out. My plan for these characters is to use them probably for the Outlaws list that now exists in 2nd edition Baron's War, with the release of the King John book, which I want to get a hold of pretty soon. But to use them in that just as character models, or and you know, the outlaw noble leading the war band, leading the retinue and everything, and then just having the other ones just in there mixed in with peasants and stuff like that, just to look different. That's what I've got painted. I put a couple of base coats on some other odd and end models with some stuff that I had left over. Nothing significant to show on camera. I've only put one dwarf together for the old world. I'm going to try to work on them some more after I finish recording this video. I hope to have them finished up maybe in the next week. Maybe try to work on them pretty heavy throughout the week, because it's easy just to come in and clean up some plastic and glue it together. So that way I can get those finished and out of the way. But what's up next? It's more Paul Hicks models from Footsore. Are models that I have wanted since I've saw them previewed and then released, and I finally got my hands on them. They are Hicksy's Halflings, Cultists, and Witch Hunters. Up first will be the Cultists. Here's this guy with a serrated blade. I mean, just look at him. He looks awesome. He's got a grimace on his face, or like a growl or something. Maybe he's using maybe he's got the sacrificial blade that they use to sacrifice different animals or people or whatever. But yeah, looks really cool. Here's a dude with 2 daggers. There's one, and there's another one held underhand. I'm going to paint them up. The dagger's probably like bronze or something to give them more of an ancient look, more ceremonial look kind of thing is my idea. But yeah. And they've got, you can't really see on this guy, but they've got hair on their feet. Like the fact he was able to sculpt hair on the feet of these halflings at the scale they are is just incredible. I'll show you on some of the witch hunters. They've got hair that you can see more easily. Here's this guy with this wicked book. It's got tentacles crawling out of it and all kinds of stuff. It's going to be fun to paint up different colors as he's preaching or calling on the old gods or whoever, the ancient ones. Definitely Call of Cthulhu vibes for sure. And then last is a dude with a spear. Maybe he's prodding along the whatever's being sacrificed. And you can kind of see, I don't know how well it's going to show up on camera, but he's got hairy feet. But yeah, plenty of detail, but they're going to be easy enough to paint up and fun, and I can't wait to get them painted up. Up next is the Witch Hunters. My only issue with these models, and it's a very minor one because it was easy to fix, they came on tabbed bases, but with MDF, or tabs molded into them, but came with MDF bases. So I had to cut the tabs off, make sure I didn't mess up the feet or anything like that. See, hairy feet right there. But make sure I didn't mess up the feet and everything, and then having to glue them onto the base. I wish they would have came with slotted bases, and it would have just been easier to put them in. This guy has a sword on his back. The hilt had come off or broke off in transit, or maybe the mold wasn't that great. I don't know, but I took a little bit of one of the thin tabbed bases and scraped it down and everything and cut it to length and put it glued it on there. I didn't notice it until after I had got them primed, so either I'll go back and prime that because I've scratched off some more of that primer. So either I'll go back and reprime him to get that done, or do some brush on primer. I'm not really sure. But yeah, really cool model. Up next is a priest for the Witch Hunters. And he's also got a book. I want to paint this book and the book for the Cultist. I want to paint them up, the cover the same color, with maybe like some kind of a symbol or something on it. Just to show that there's like a shared intelligence there, and maybe part of the book contains like summoning rites for demons and stuff like that, but it's also got rights to banish the demons and everything in it. Like, you have to be careful with what you read, or maybe it's how you read it, or inflect upon certain words, or pervert a phrase or something like that that could summon demons. So I want to paint them up the same. Here's him with his long mill pattern baldness style hair, or maybe he keeps it shaved, I'm not sure. Then next for the Witch Hunters is like a rogue type with a dagger. Great for D&D. All these models are great for like D&D or any role-playing kind of Call of Cthulhu or whatever. With this guy being a halfling rogue type, would slot into any D&D party, no problem. With his bag of treasure thrown over his shoulder. And then last is who I assume is the main Witch Hunter himself. As his sword is drawn, and he's got scrolls, and his pistol's drawn. Maybe the scrolls are orders from the local religious order for wanted criminals and stuff like that of the occult. But yeah, pretty cool looking. Alright guys, that's it from me. That's what I've worked on. And what's up next. I'm really excited to get started on these guys and paint them up. I'm going to probably do mostly Caucasian colors, but I may also mix in some more darker skin tones. Maybe even some lighter skin tones than Caucasian. Maybe some more like pale or albino-esque looking colors. Just to show that they're different, maybe dregs of, not that albino people are dregs of society, that's not what I'm trying to say, that was a poor choice of words, but like, just different members of society and everything coming together and either being a witch hunter or a cultist. But yeah, like I said, that's it for me. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I really appreciate it. And I will see you guys on the next one.